Shalom. Apostle Car coming back at you with this truth, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai Shem Kakudash. And I'm going to entitle this video The Latter Days, Last Days, and the End of the World. And what I did was I went to the blue letter and I typed in latter days, went through a couple of the precepts, and then I put in last days and then end of the world. I had this one comment, if I can find it, I'll put it up, where this one brother said, and there's people out there that think that way. You got to let them know that this is the time. He said something to the effect of, I don't know, we can be here for the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 1,000 years. And I never clicked on the guy's avatar, but anybody that makes a statement like that, is basically new in the faith. You got to grow in his faith. You just can't get this overnight. You can't cram this truth in you. You have to digest it pursuant to Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, and Revelation, the 10th chapter. It has to be digested. You can't take a turkey and just jam it down your throat. It's impossible. You can't take a meal, a full course meal, maybe a 5-course meal, and just eat it inside of 2 minutes. And if you attempted to do that, you can choke. And that goes into the choking on the word, the meat and the milk. When you're a baby, your body is set up to only receive milk, and then baby food, and then as your teeth grow and as your body develops, you can start eating meat. You give a baby a piece of steak, if the baby doesn't spit it out, it tries to swallow it, it can choke. So, this is a thing that you grow in. So the individual that made that statement is obviously a baby in the truth that has to really go into these videos and understand these precepts, understand the breakdowns, understand the word, the entire word, eat the whole roll. Anyway, before I actually go into the subject, I just want to say that, and I don't know if this was already done. I guess it was, because Apostle Orion Lob's site, GMS Info Doc channel. Let me see what number. Okay, this is GMS Info Doc channel 12, which is under the Odyssey page, GMS Info Doc channel. So the way his account is set up is when you do a YouTube video, it automatically uploads to the Odyssey account. My account is not set up that way. I have a completely different name or a completely different account from the YouTube account. So if I put a video up on YouTube, I have to go and put the video up on Odyssey manually, I guess you could say, because certain videos that I put up on YouTube or that I put up on Odyssey, I wouldn't put up on YouTube because YouTube would take it down. Like I said, all you men out there should get you an Odyssey account, and if you think you're gonna do a video that's intense and controversial, you're playing with fire when you put it up on YouTube, because they'll take it down in a couple of days, or they'll take it down. I had videos taken down that didn't even go up it was just taken down, and I received a strike. I did this one video where I put it up, and I immediately took it down, and not one person saw the video, and it was a controversial video, and I did it for a particular reason, not to put it on YouTube because I already knew they're going to take it down and give me a strike. I put it up, and then I took it right back down. In other words, I put it up private. Nobody, not one person saw it, and they still gave me a strike, talking about it, what is it, community guidelines and all this medical um, misinformation. I forget exactly. I forget even what the video was all about. I don't remember if I put that video on. Matter of fact, I did, but I forget to get which one. But yeah, that you have to get a Odyssey account, and it's very simple. It's very easy to set up the account, and it's very easy to upload videos. Now, at first, I had a little bit of a problem uploading the first video, but I believe the second video I got it, and then from there, it's I'll put up a video. I'll go to Odyssey. I'll go to Odyssey and inside of a minute, not even a minute, inside a minute, I can upload a video, and I'll just go away and I'll come back. I'll come back in 5 minutes and the video's up and running. And like I said, these videos that go up on Odyssey are more controversial than the ones you see on YouTube, because YouTube, they're thin skinned. Anyway, let me just go right into the subject. And I even went to commentary. Okay, let me put in latter days. For the ones of you that have been in this truth for a number of years, this is basic, but this is for, we have newer people coming in trying to make heads and tails of the scriptures. That's why the individual, and part of the reason why I put this up is because of that comment. I mean, I can find it, but I'm not going to look for it. I might put the comment in the video after it's put up. Put it in the comment section, or tell you where the video is. But you're going to have individuals that's going to come into this thing, and they're going to learn certain precepts, and there's certain precepts they're going to like, but then they don't know how to put all the scriptures together. If somebody asks them a particular question concerning something, they won't know how to answer it. Like they say, like if a person said, well, how do you know, you guys teaching that the world is coming to an end? How can you prove that? Well, this video right here will equip you with those scriptures. And see, a lot of times I'll go to Blue Letter, and I'll just put in a phrase or a word and see how many precepts pop up, and just take the precepts that fit what I'm trying to convey, or the message that I'm trying to convey. So the very first scripture, by the way, I put in latter and days, occurs 25 times in 12 verses in the King James Version, including 11 exact phrases shown first. So this is exact phrases. So as you can see, so the first thing I did was I went to Numbers 24 verse 14, and I already know that this is the story of the account of Balaam and Balak. And I believe you can start from the 22nd verse. I'm sorry, the 22nd chapter of Numbers. So I believe you go to 22. I believe it's 22. It could be 21, 22. The meat is in 23, chapter 23 and chapter 24. And this shows you what we're going to do to the surrounding nations in the latter days. Let me take Numbers 24, verse 14. This is on the Bible Hub. And what they'll do, they'll give you commentary. Okay, so this is 24, Numbers 24, verse 14. And now behold, I go unto my people, come therefore, and I will advertise thee what these people shall do to thy people in the latter days. So this people that Balaam was talking about, or talking to uh, Balak, were the sons of Israel. And this king, Balak, was the king of Moab. And he said, I'm going to tell you what these people are going to do to your people in the latter days. And then I'm going to go to the, matter of fact, I'll do it now. No, I have to actually go to the 16th verse. Let me do this. Let me come back. Numbers 24, verse 14. Okay, this is Ellicott's commentary for English readers. And okay, I'll go right to in the latter days, literally in the end of days. So this Ellicott's commentary, they're telling you, is talking about the actual latter days, the end of this man's system. Now, so it said in the latter days, literally in the end of the days, and it says Genesis 49, verse 1. Then Jacob called to his sons and said, gather yourself together that I may tell you what shall befall you in the last days. So we are still, you know, catching these curses to this very day. Here it is a couple of weeks before 2022, and we're still under the curses. And there's going to be a test, put in front of us. The ultimate test is whether you're going to take that charagma or not, which these other camps are not, their leaders, their teachers are not teaching them that. So when it actually comes to pass, they're not going to know what to do. It says the prophecy which follows refers exclusively to the future, meaning now. And it is divided into four parts by the recurrence of the words, he took up this parable. So you got Numbers 24, verse 15, Numbers 24, verse 20 to 21, Numbers 24, verse 23. It says in Numbers 24, verse 20 to 21, it says, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Numbers 24, verse 15. And he took up this parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, has said, and the man whose eyes were open has said. This also proves that other nations, because Balaam was of another nation, he wasn't an Israelite. And he tells you that he wished at the end of this whole ordeal, he wishes he can be one of them, the Israelites. That's in Numbers 23. You can start from the 9th verse. So that proves that the Lord is not going to bless any other nation except for the sons of Israel. This is Numbers 24, verse 23. And he took up his parable and said, Alas, who shall live when the Most High doeth this? And I believe this is the only commentary where they pretty much go straight in. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from here. I'm gonna go to 15 verse. And I read that, and he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor have said, and the man whose eyes were open have said. So can the Most High give other nations prophecies, latter day prophecies? Yeah, Balaam is one of them. Another one that comes to mind is Nebuchadnezzar in the book of Daniel. Let's read the 16th verse. He have said, which heard the words of the Most High and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, the Most High, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, that's Yahweh Shai, star meaning Lucifer, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. I immediately think about Revelation chapter 12. And behold, there was a man child that was caught up in the heaven, and he received the scepter to rule all the nations, and shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy all the children of Seth. So when is that going to happen? In the last days. And Edom shall be a possession. So this kills that. This destroys vocab saying the Edomites were done away with. Because if the Edomites were done away with, then this wouldn't be here. Numbers 24:18. And Edom, they first mentioned what was going to happen in Moab and Amalek, and Edom shall be a possession. They're going to be slaves. When? In the latter days. Seir also shall be a possession. Seir is the land. We're going to take that land pursuant to Amos, the 9th chapter. Was that 9 and 12? For his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. So when is this going to happen? The 14th verse, the 15th verse, the 16th verse, the 17th verse, the 18th verse, the 19th verse, to the end is going to happen in the latter days. So is Esau still around? Are the Edomites still here? You got them right, they're here. Let's come back to the 14th verse. And now behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people, the Israelites, shall do to thy people, and not just thy people, the Amalekites, the sons of Seth, the Edomites, all those nations around about. And this goes hand in hand with uh, Ezekiel 25, verse 12 on down, Isaiah, what is that, chapter 11. You can start from like the 10th verse and read on down. So now let's go back over here. As a matter of fact, you know what I want to do? I want to see what these commentators have to say concerning Edom. It says Numbers 24, verse 18, and Edom. So he's saying Moab, you're going to get jacked up. Amalek, you're going to get jacked up. Seth, you're going to get jacked up. And Edom, you're going to get jacked up. And it's all referring to the same time frame. So now I want to see the comments. Ellicott's commentary for English readers. And Edom shall be a possession, Seir also. It says better, and Edom shall be a possession, Seir shall be a possession for his enemy, the enemies of Israel. Oh, see, hey, the enemies of Israel, Edom, Seir. Seir and Edom are enemies of Israel. It said the enemies of Israel, or rather, the ruler who was to rise out of Israel. Yeah, because Moses always sets up a ruler. The Hebrew word, I think they're trying to say Oba, whatever. This is not even Hebrew. If it was written in Hebrew, I could read it. It says, which is rendered the enemies, appears to stand in opposition to Edom and Seir. Edom and Seir, when? In the latter days. Go back to the 14th verse. As a word, I'm not even going to try to read whatever, his enemies or adversaries. In Numbers 24, verse 8, to the nations, Edom was the name of the people, Seir of the country. Yeah, because we're going to take their country. This is Genesis 32, verse 3. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, to the land of Seir, the country of Edom. The prophecy received its primary accomplishment in the time of David. Those are one at a time, but this is not talking about the time of David. The Numbers 24 is not talking about, this is not being fulfilled in the time of David. It was partially fulfilled in the time of David, but when Israel does valiantly against these nations, it's something that's getting ready to happen. So they're going off. It says that he put, this is 2 Samuel 8, verse 14, and he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom, put he garrisons in all day of Edom, because became David's servants, and the Lord preserved David wheresoever he went. Okay, so garrisons. Let me do this. Bear with me for a minute. I just want to look up the word garrisons. Basically, Esau set up garrisons on us. Now, let me see here. 2 Samuel 8, verse 14. I'm going to look up the word garrisons. Even the Apocrypha during the time of the Maccabees, it speaks about precincts. In fact, I might go into that. Okay, garrisons. The word is natazayab. Set over something, place, pillar, perfect, garrison, post, pillar, perfect, deputy. Because police officers are really state police. You have sheriffs, which are police, and you have deputies. Let me look up the word garrison in a modern dictionary. Let's see what comes up. Okay, garrison. Garrison is the collective term for any body of troops stationed in a particular location. So if you go to the city, you have precincts, which are nothing but garrisons, man. Originally to guard it, the term now often applies to certain facilities that constitute a military base or fortified military headquarters. So your police precincts are nothing but that; those are military bases. Because you just can't go up in there. You go to a certain point and there's a guy right there. And you got to say, what's your business? You got to say, what's your business in order to talk? Well, I'm here to talk to Officer Jones about blah, blah, blah. Then they'll say, are you expecting so-and-so? And Officer Jones says, yes, I'm expecting to see that guy. So let him in my office. So that's a military order. Now, in a police precinct, you have captains, you have lieutenants. You know, you have that rank. You have rookies, which are nothing but buck privates. It's a military order. A police officer didn't say, "Oh, I'm going over here at 6 o'clock." No, he'll say, "I'm going over here. Or I'm going over there at 1800 hours," which is military time. I remember telling this one officer who was at this one place, and the detective came to me and he asked me, "When are you guys leaving?" And I believe I said, "We're leaving in 1800 hours, 1800." And he kind of looked back and he said, "Can thou speak it Greek?" No, he didn't say that. He said, you know military time?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." Because that's what they deal with. You know, when they give you we used to get permits because we had the speakers, the sound system, so you had to get a permit. And they would give you the time that you can use the sound system from the starting point to the closing point, and it was always in military time. Okay, it says a garrison is usually in a city. So what is a police a precinct, a police precinct? It's a garrison. You have the headquarters, which is like a fort, and they're all armed to the teeth. And what they do is they go around their jurisdiction. You know, whether it's the 39th precinct, the 44th precinct, and it's a jurisdictionary thing. And they'll even say it on the cruises. They'll say 44th precinct, 52nd precinct, or whatever. And it is a military structure. So the police are military. It says a garrison is usually in a city, town, fort, castle, ship, or similar sites. Let me click more on it. So that whole police precinct is really a garrison. Let me see something. If I can, let me see if I how good my spelling is. I'm a terrible speller, but I'll put in precinct. I'm in the dark as well. So in our kingdom, guess what? We're going to set up garrisons, jurisdictions over the different nations. They're going to have to answer to us. Let me try it this way. Let me try it this way. Hopefully, bear with me for 1 minute. Let me try it this way. I'm a terrible speller. Let's see what happens. Damn, man. Anyway, precinct precinct is a garrison. That's all it is. So anywhere you live, there's going to be a headquarters, a police headquarters, which is nothing but a garrison, and the wall that they surround you is their police. When they go around, you park your car on the wrong side of the street, they give you a ticket. You know, you go through a red light, they pulling you over. Now they have cameras. So that's nothing but a garrison, man. So now let's come back. We spent about a little bit more than 30 minutes just dealing with this one precept right here. So let me try to breeze through this. So now you should know Numbers 24, verse 14. And now, behold, I go unto my people, come, come there, therefore. And this is Balaam talking to Balak. And I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the what? Latter days. Latter days. So let's deal with the word latter days. And remember, okay, let me go back to 14, excuse me. Okay, I believe this is the one. Okay, boom. Ellicott's commentary for English readers. In the latter days, literally in the end of days. Latter days meaning latter day definition and meaning Merriam-Webster. The meaning of latter day is of present or recent times, how to use latter days in a sentence. Let me do it this way. Let me put in Bible. Okay, latter days meaning in the Bible. And it mentions Edom, what's going to happen to Edom in the latter days. So that kills what Vocab says about his take on Edom. Oh, Edom was done away with. No, no, no. Because we're not in the end. We're in the end of the day. So Esau has to be here, or else the prophecy wouldn't come to pass fully. It says latter days, last times, meaning further, it is not always clear whether the latter days means a somewhat latter period than that of the writer or the latest times of all, the end of the world. That's your biblical meaning. The latter days mean the end of the world. There are also expressions that locate the day being discussed in the time of the speaker. And that's true too, because there's some prophecies that come to pass when a prophet is living. Prophecies come to pass in the lifetime of a prophet. When our Lord told the disciples that became apostles, he said, "When you see the abomination that maketh desolate, then flee ye into the mountains." So what was he talking about? He was talking about 70 A.D. And I always reference that. And when did that take place? During the time of the apostles, but a lot of them were put to death already. So you had the seven churches of Asia Minor. You had John, the apostle John. He was living. When 70 A.D. took place, Peter was already in the spirit realm. James, his brother, was in the spirit world. The apostle Paul was in the spirit world. The only one that was left of the apostles was John, and he was sentenced to the salt mines off the Greek coast called the what is that called? Patmos. So like I said, sometimes latter days take place in a lifetime of a prophet, or his the people that he was amongst. He can die, and those people heard him actually say it, and then it comes to pass in their lifetime. But it mainly means the as it says, the end of the world, the end of the world. Latter times or latter days means the end of the world. So will Esau be here? Is Esau still here? You got damn right. Because that prophecy of Edom being taken down is going to take place in when? The latter days. The latter days really started when Yahushua came on the scene. That was a countdown to the end. Okay, so it says here, Deuteronomy 4, verse 30, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, meaning now, if thou turn to the Lord thy power, and shall be obedient unto his voice. Let me keep reading. I already know what it's going to say. 31st verse. For the Lord thy power is merciful unto thee. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. For as now of this day that are past, which were before thee, since the day the Most High created man upon the earth, and as from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing is, or hath been heard like it. Now, ultimately, that's the time of Jacob's trouble. So who's holding us back? These other Jakes that's pushing this comedic nonsense, these niggas in Christianity, these atheistic niggas, it's Jake, these Moes, they're holding us back. They're the enemies. So you know what I got to say to them? Fuck them, man. You got to love the two. No, you ain't got to love the 2/3. The only people you commanded to love and honor is your father, your mother, your wife, and your children. Okay, defend the COVID transmission. Right? The vaccine fucked up through your immune system. The immune system. The antibodies are fucked up by them spike. I'm not gonna read no more because they might take this video down. Okay, so now let's come back. Let's see, I gotta move quick. So let's read this again. Deuteronomy 4, verse 30. When thou art in tribulation, we're in tribulation. And we're coming into the great tribulation, which is the time of Jacob's trouble. So you're going to have to get your prayers up. You're going to have to get ready. The bridegroom getting ready. And all these things will come upon thee even in the last days. So we've been in the last days. The Most High getting ready to close that curtain. Deuteronomy 31, verse 29. For I know that after my death, ye will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil will befall you in the latter days. So we've gone into hardcore slavery. We're going through hell even to this day. Because Moses kept you in somewhat order. And the first thing that happened when they went to the wilderness, that new generation that was born in the wilderness, their parents didn't circumcise their children. And Joshua had to order them by the sword to circumcise their kids. So that's how easy a nigga can lose it, man. That's why this time, man, Moses ain't taking all of Israel into some wilderness. He's only gathering the elect. It's going to be a smooth transition. He ain't bringing no niggas up in the ship. That's a topic right there. The Lord ain't beaming no niggas up in the ship. Bossy badass and all them niggas. They ain't coming up in no ship, man. They ain't coming up in no ship. Anyway, it says, because ye will do evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. It says, Jeremiah 23, verse 20, the anger of the Lord Yahweh shall not return until he have executed. In other words, he's not going to pull back unless he does what he said he's going to do. It says, and until he have performed the thoughts of his heart in the latter days, ye shall consider it perfectly. Now it says the same exact thing. Almost the same exact thing in Jeremiah 30, verse 24. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intent of his heart in the latter days, ye shall consider it. In the previous verse, consider it perfectly. So we consider it. We know that we're in the last days. You Jakes, you're gonna get a rude awakening. And you Israelites that know that you're Israelites, you're gonna get a rude awakening, man. Here it is is a couple of weeks before, it's 2 weeks before the year 2022, and you still don't know what the charagma is all about. But you're gonna wake up quick. And you're gonna say what Sonetta just recently said. GMS was right. They were right. They're the number one group out there. Jeremiah 48, verse 47. Yet will I bring again the captivity of Moab in the latter days, saith the Lord. Thus far is the judgment of Moab. And that's going to happen in the latter days. Jeremiah 49, verse 30, 49, verse 39. But it shall come to pass in the latter days that I will bring again the captivity of Elam, saith the Lord. Because who's gonna go into captivity? Not just Esau. Ezekiel 38, verse 60. All these precepts is about the end, the last days, the time that we're living in right now. It says in Ezekiel 38, verse 16, and thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. Now, what should come to mind? Revelation 20, verse 7. Compass the beloved city, which Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. It said, it shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before their eyes. Because part of our salvation is the fact that Gog and Magog are going to attack or destroy rather Babylon the Great. And we're going to be delivered from that. We're not just going to be delivered, as the Christians say, be raptured. We're going to be delivered up as the missiles are heading to Babylon. Daniel 2, verse 28. But there is a power in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. So the king of Babylon, he had dreams and visions of something that was going to take place 2,500 years in the future, which is right now. So the Most High does open the eyes of these heathen. It says to the king Nebuchadnezzar, what shall be in the latter days, thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. Daniel 10, verse 14. Let's see what that says. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thee, thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. Hosea 3, verse 5. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord. Now, when it says the children of Israel, it's talking about Judah and Israel, the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel, and seek the Lord. And that's happening right now. That's happening right now. When you go out on the highways and the byways, do these sit downs, there was a great cry heard. Matthew's 25th chapter. And they all came out, the bridegrooms with their lamps. Some had oil and some didn't have oil. That's why you got a lot of people that come into this thing and then they fall right out because they the little oil that they had, they wasted it or they never had it. And seek the Lord their power. That's what we're doing. And we have all kind of obstacles coming against us because we're criminalized. They demonize us, demonizing us for us knowing who we are, finding out who we are. It says, Israel returned and seek the Lord their power and David their king. David their king is talking about King David. King David is going to sit on his throne again. Now, who's going to be over him? Yahushua. And shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. Aren't we fearing the Lord? Aren't we keeping the Sabbath, the high holy days? We're eating according to the dietary menu. We're out there teaching. Let me put in the last days. Okay, where we at? Bear with me for a minute. Okay, it says occurs, last days occurs 18 times in 9 verses in KJV, including 8 exact phrases shown first. These are the 8 phrases. Genesis 49, verse 1, and Jacob called unto his sons. Jacob was a prophet because he prophesied as to what his sons were going to go through. Gather yourself together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Isaiah 2, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So the last days, when the kingdom comes, that's also considered the last days. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it. That follows. Esau is the end of the world, meaning Esau is the last days. We are the kingdom. Micah 4, verse 1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that. Now, I don't remember whether it was Isaiah 2, verse 2 or Micah 4, verse 1 at the UN. It says you shall beat your, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me open up another tab. UN. They put in swords. Let me just put in the word swords and see what happens. Let me see what happens. Nah, that's not it. Nah, I got to get the actual quote. Give me a second here. I'll do it the hard way. Okay, boom. There we go. It was in Isaiah 2, verse 4. So the key verse, let me come back here. Isaiah 2, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, meaning the smaller nations. We're going to be the mountain over the other mountains, and all nations shall flow into it. That's not happening over there in the land of Israel. Ain't nobody flowing. The only thing that's flowing over there in the land of Israel is the machinations. It says, third verse, and many people shall go and say, um, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the most high Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his path. For now it says, everybody's talking about, is there going to be sacrifice for Esau if he goes off? It said they're going to walk in the right path. We're going to look, man, we're going to keep a sharp look on this guy. If he does, if he blinks the wrong way, first of all, the lions are going to get his ass. Remember what happened in Second Ezra, Second Kings 17, when King Shalmaneser V sent to them other nations, and they were doing what they wanted to do, and what happened? The Most High sent lions to kill some of them. So we don't got to be around no Edomite. He think he gonna commit some sin, and a lion, Edomite might want to jump on another Edomite dude, you know, and a lion might come out the forest and tear his ass, tear him a new one, slap all the ass off of him. It says, and because the spirits are going to be on him. The spirits, you commit a certain sin, there's going to be spirits. There's going to be angels. And we shall command angels, pursuant to 1 Corinthians chapter 6. It says, and we will, it says, the Most High of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we, the other nations, will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Fourth verse, and he shall judge among the nations, which means us, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their pruning hooks into spears. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So these people are saying over there in the land of Israel, the small hats, oh, this is the fulfillment of prophecy. No, it ain't, because the Third World War is around the corner. Armageddon is around the corner. It says the same thing in Micah 4:1. So if you go to the UN, across the street from the UN building, you had this, on the wall, you have written Isaiah 2, verse 4. Acts 2, verse 17, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Lord, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. We already know what that means. You got brothers and certain sisters that are receiving these visions. 2 Timothy 3, verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. We're in perilous times, man. This LA detective compared parts of California as like the Purge, the movie The Purge. When we look up perilous. Perilous. Don't you hear it?
5G 5467. Kali Pass. Kali Pass.
Hard to do, to take, to approach, hard to bear, troublesome, Jacob's trouble, dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage. Now, this is why the Most High took the first world out because of the violence. There we go. Genesis 6, verse 11, and Genesis 6, verse 13. The earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. And we're coming to that time again. 13 verse. And the Most High said unto Noah, now that's also written in Luke 17. It says, when you see things happening that happened during the time of Noah, during the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, before they were destroyed, you know that the Most High is going to bring judgment. So it says 13 verse again. And the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. So let's go to Luke 17. Okay, second coming foretold. So this is how you know when the Lord is coming back. Perilous times. It says Luke 17, verse 22, and he said unto the disciples, the days will come when ye shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and ye shall not see it. That's the year 2000. We said the year 2000, the Lord gonna come. He never came, fulfilling what? Luke 17, verse 22. 24, for as the lightning that now it also says, many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many, saying, lo, here is the Messiah, or there, he's in the desert. Said, go not forth. So Luke 17, verse 24, for as the lightning that shineth out of the one part, GOCC, years ago, and they stopped teaching that crap. The fleet doctrine, where they said we got to go to Egypt, we got to go back to the land of Israel before the Most High destroyed Babylon. So you had a lot of people simple people follow him, and they went over there and he left them out there stranded, man. They ran out of money and they had to get jobs in Egypt, and Egypt ain't paying too good. Their minimum wage is like $1 a day, $2 a day. Luke 17, verse 24. For as a lightning that shineth out of the one part of heaven shineth unto the other part of heaven, so shall also the Son of Man be in his day. So everybody's going to see this event. 25th verse. But first must he suffer many things and be rejected of this generation. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. So what happened during the time of the days of Noah? Genesis 6, verse 13. And the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is coming before me, for the earth is filled with violence, perilous times through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. That's why he's going to destroy more Israelites than he delivers, because they ain't right. Where am I at? Okay, 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noe entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Then it uses a reference of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, I put in violence. Let me come back. This know also, 2 Timothy 3, verse 1, this know also that in the latter days perilous times shall come. Hebrews 1, verse 2, hath in these last days spoken unto his son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. So when did the last days begin? When the Lord came on the scene. So we've been in the last days for the last 2,000 years. James 5, verse 3, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire, missiles. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Now, I was watching Mike on RT Rethink the Dollar, and he did this 7-minute piece where he was talking about an arrangement of China and Russia coming together, which they already been together with the BRICS nations. Look that up. The BRICS nations. What is that? BRI. I think it's CS, if I'm not mistaken. The B represents Brazil. R represents Russia. I represents India. C represents China. And S represents South America. So they've been had that alliance, but they're getting ready to totally cut off from the dollar bill, from the Federal Reserve note. It says, 2 Peter 3, verse 3, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lust. And we deal with that every day. There's scoffers that come on our site, talk shit, but they don't scoff as much as they used to. A lot of them just went back into the world. And anyway, you know what? Let me put this back on. Anyway, I'm going to say shalom.